What's up YouTube? My name's Gavlar88 and today we are going to check out the X10 Mechanic Master from EasySMX. A wireless controller compatible with PC, Steam Deck, iOS, Android, as well as Nintendo Switch. EasySMX is an up-and-coming peripheral brand with a number of bestseller controllers on Amazon. And with their latest effort, the X10, they look to take it to the next level. Multi-platform compatibility, Hall effect sticks and triggers, programmable back buttons, mechanical switches and a number of other features make the X10 an impressive package. But is it worth picking up? Well, in this video I aim to help you decide if the EasySMX X10 Mechanic Master is for you. To do this, we will review the controller in 4 categories, cover pros and cons in each, and in the end hopefully help you make an informed decision. Now before we get going, I will mention that this controller was sent to me by EasySMX for the sake of this review. But as always, this will have no impact on the content of this video or my opinions expressed in it. I'll also mention that if you find yourself wanting to pick up the X10, EasySMX have kindly offered my subscribers a discount just by using the code GAVLAR at checkout for 12% off. I will leave the link in the description. So, with that out of the way, and without further ado, let's get into it. So as I mentioned, we will be breaking this review down into 4 categories. Firstly, the price and what you get for your money. Secondly, the general design, including aesthetics as well as any key features the controller has. Thirdly, how customizable the X10 is. What you can do to make the controller your own. And lastly, how is it in practice? How is it to play with? So starting with the price, and in the UK, the X10 Mechanic Master comes in at £41. I'm still waiting to hear on pricing for other regions, but when I do, I will endeavour to add it to the description. So let's see what you get for your money. Well, of course, you get the controller. A secondary white faceplate, as well as a set of white side grips, a USB dongle for connecting to your PC, and a USB Type-C cable for wired play and of course, to charge the controller. So for the money, I feel the X10 is a pretty good package. But what makes it different from other controllers around the £40 mark? Well, it's time to discuss the design and key features. Starting off with the general design, and it's easy to see that EasySMX has taken inspiration from the Xbox series controllers. The overall form factor is practically identical, so good news if you're a fan of the Xbox controller. They have also taken some design cues from the Elite Series 2, clearly seen in the 2 texture finish on the front of the controller. Moving on to the back of the controller, and I'll mention the textured finish on the triggers and grips. Similar to the Xbox controllers, but used in different areas. The grips specifically, I feel, are actually an improvement on the Xbox controllers. While on the subject of textured grips, the thumbsticks have an almost tire tread-like design on them, which I really like. Another design choice I like is that they have decided to use one solid piece of plastic on the back of the controller, rather than have a few different pieces. This leads to a nicer feel in hand. Moving on to some of the key features the controller has, and we have to start with probably its main selling point, its multi-platform functionality. Now I will get into this more in the last section of the review, but for now I'll say that the controller offers you 4 modes of connectivity: wireless to PC, wired to PC, Bluetooth to iOS and Android, and a Nintendo Switch mode. This is done by flipping the switch on the back of the controller to the desired setting and holding down the home button for a specified time. Sounds easy, and it should be, but unfortunately, the Mechanic Master doesn't make it very obvious where the connection mode switch should be positioned to connect to each device. Some markings on the controller would go a long way here. Something for EasySMX to think about for future iterations. Because of this, I would definitely recommend holding on to the instruction manual. I found myself referring back to it a few times when connecting to other devices. Another touted feature of the controller is the Hall effect thumbsticks, a much requested feature in the controller community. Hall effect sticks allow for more precise input and, more importantly, greatly reduce the chance of stick drift. A definite win here. Similarly, the controller has Hall effect triggers. I've never had much problem with triggers, but a nice addition nonetheless. Something that is a must for me when choosing a controller are the back paddles, and the X10 offers you 2 programmable back paddles. This adds to versatility while gaming, and once mastered can really make a difference. Quickly mentioning on some other controller features, and a favourite of mine is the mechanical face buttons. They really have a nice satisfying feel when pressed and have consistent, easy actuation. We also have the ability to change the controller vibration on the fly just by pressing this button here, and also a turbo button. Not something I would personally use, but there if you are so inclined. 6 axis motion controls are also included, which is awesome if you're a Switch gamer. And also a 1000 mAh built-in battery, good for around 20 hours of playtime. So the X10 Mechanic Master is packed with features. But is there anything you can do to make the controller your own? Well, let's move on to the next area of discussion. How customizable is the X10? Well, starting off, and as I mentioned earlier, the controller actually comes with a secondary white faceplate as well as a set of side grips. Now, these are paint friendly, meaning you can create your own design and show off your arty side. I was lucky enough to be sent the silver X10, although there is also a purple option. Something to think about there. We also have the back paddles, which can be programmed to any of the face buttons, meaning you have the ability to be creative with your controller setup. Again, we have some nice customization options, but let's get down to it and answer the real question. How is it under use? What is it like to play with? Well, as I mentioned earlier, the controller feels great in hand. The general form factor feels good to me, and I can't see this becoming uncomfortable over long play sessions. The 2 programmable back paddles are incorporated into the shell of the controller. They don't get in the way and are accessible when needed. The thumbsticks are precise and have a relatively tight feel, which I appreciate. The triggers feel smooth and have a similar travel compared to the Xbox controllers. Although I will mention that they definitely feel looser with less resistance than I'm used to. Not a problem for me, but if you're into racing games, it could be a concern. With regards to the D-pad, it is a standard classic D-pad. Satisfying to press and no issues. A favourite feature of mine is the mechanical face buttons. They give consistent button presses and are fun to use. When it comes to actually connecting the controller to my devices, as I said earlier, I had a couple of issues. Mainly me not being sure what mode I need the controller set up in to connect to whichever device. It takes a bit of guesswork, to be honest. A few markings on the controller would go a long way here. Now, in saying that, when I was connected to my devices, I had no problems, and the X10 worked as intended. The latency felt minimal and it felt snappy and responsive, even when playing shooters. So the EasySMX X10 Mechanic Master overall is a really nice package. Cross-platform functionality, Hall effect triggers and thumbsticks being perhaps the main selling points. With other features such as the 2 programmable back paddles, motion controls and a rechargeable battery, seeing the X10 offer much more than some controllers at a significantly higher price point. We also have some nice customization with the added magnetic faceplate. And in use, the controller holds up, performing well on different game types. So if you're looking for a controller that can be used on the go, casually at home on the Switch, or even relatively competitively on your PC, the EasySMX X10 offers you this, with its cross-platform play as well as its more pro controller features, such as the Hall effect thumbsticks and back paddles. Now, if you are interested in picking up this controller, I have a link in the description below, and of course remember to use the code GAVLAR at checkout for a 12% discount. Remember to let me know what you think about the EasySMX X10 in the comments below. And of course, if you have found this video helpful, please drop me a like, and of course subscribe for more videos just like this one, or even these ones at a link right here. But before I go, a quick thank you to EasySMX for sending me out this controller for the purposes of the review. But anyway guys, thanks so much for watching, and until the next time, I'll catch us.